Okay, so we're about to dive into one of those startup stories that, for some reason, has just flown under the radar. And it's a wild one. We're talking pure grit, massive ambition, and this one key decision. A decision that pretty much breaks every rule in the founder's playbook. And you know that quote? That's not some exaggeration for a fact, seriously. Once you see the journey these guys went on, from the absolute brink of failure to staring down a billion-dollar decision, you'll get why this story is just so insane.
So, where does a story like this even begin? Well, it starts with a familiar theme, right? Overcoming hardship. But the path taken here is something else. The level of sheer perseverance we're talking about is almost hard to wrap your head around.
And that brings us to the core puzzle of this whole thing. Imagine building a company and you get the offer. The kind of offer most founders literally dream about their entire lives. And he just walks away. So how did he even get to that point? And more importantly, what on earth made him say no?
Okay, so to really understand Airwallex, you have to start with the guy at the center of it all, the founder, Jack Zhang. His backstory, well, it's the foundation for everything that comes next. I mean, just look at this timeline. It paints a pretty stark picture, doesn't it? Just try to imagine it. You're 16 years old, you've moved to a new country, and then bam, all your family's financial support just vanishes. Jack wasn't working for, extra cash on the weekend. He was literally working to survive, all while staring down a university bill of over 24 grand a year. And the contrast between then and now is just staggering. He went from this back-breaking manual labor in a lemon factory to doing back-to-back shifts as a bartender and then a gas station attendant. These weren't just jobs. Think about it. These were 16-hour endurance tests, and he was juggling all of that with a full-time university schedule. It's insane. But here's the thing. This relentless grind, it wasn't just about paying the bills. It was actually forging the mindset of a true serial entrepreneur. So, get this. Even with a super demanding full-time tech job, Jack was running a whole empire of side businesses. And we're not talking about like a small side income here. He was pulling in millions in profit every single year from these ventures. He was totally financially independent, making something like 10 times more than his own boss. Wild. So where did the idea for Airwallex actually come from? Well, it came from his own experience. Classic founder story, right? He was trying to pay some overseas suppliers for his coffee shop, and he just slammed into this wall of slow, ridiculously expensive international payments. So you've got that professional frustration, and then you combine it with something really personal, the birth of his daughter in 2015, and suddenly he had this incredibly powerful drive to build something that really mattered. But you know how it is. A great idea is just the beginning. The road to success for Airwallex was anything but smooth. In fact, the company almost died. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. Okay, so their first shot was this peer-to-peer currency exchange idea. It just never got enough people using it, so strike one. Then they tried an invoicing tool for small businesses, but it was just way too expensive to get new customers and scale up. Strike two. At this point, money is running out, so they make one last desperate pivot. Instead of trying to serve regular people or small businesses, they built this powerful financial tool, an API, that massive companies could just plug right into their own systems. And that was the breakthrough. And this whole journey of just trying to survive, it set the stage for this one single moment. A moment that would define what the company was really all about. All right, so fast forward to 2019. Airwallex is growing like crazy, but they're still pretty early on, just a few million in revenue. And that's when an offer lands on their table. An offer for $1.2 billion. And this offer wasn't from just anybody. It came from an absolute titan of the industry, Stripe. I mean, for a founder in FinTech, getting an acquisition offer from Stripe, that is the ultimate validation. It's like the Holy Grail. But Jack said no. Just no. See, he didn't see Airwallex as just some cool feature that could be plugged into a bigger platform. He had a much bigger vision. He saw them building a completely new kind of global bank, one that was actually designed for the internet economy, ready to take on the old legacy systems of giants like HSBC. So you have to ask, right? What gives someone the confidence to turn down $1.2 billion? What was the secret sauce? The core innovation that he believed was worth so much more? Well, their big innovation wasn't just, a prettier app.
It was a complete reinvention of the financial plumbing that the world runs on. For decades, global payments have been stuck on this thing called the SWIFT network. It's this clunky, expensive system from the 1970s. So what did Airwallex do? They built their own modern network from the ground up, connecting directly to local payment systems in over 150 countries. By just completely bypassing SWIFT, they made international transfers way faster, way cheaper, and available 24/7.
And that really gets to the core of their all-in-one vision. See, it's not just a service to send money from point A to point B. It's a single, unified platform where a global business can manage all of its financial operations. We're talking opening accounts, taking payments, managing corporate cards and expenses, basically everything, without all the headaches of the traditional banking system.
And that huge gamble, saying no to Stripe, did it pay off? Oh yeah, handsomely. Airwallex has kept up a growth rate of over 100% year over year for 8 straight years. Think about that. Their annualized revenue is on track to double in just 2 years, and they're blowing past that billion-dollar mark.
So what's next for them? Well, like we're about to see, this story is far from over.
They're now moving past just being the foundational plumbing. They're building on top of it. By adding a whole software layer for things like billing, expense management, and procurement, Airwallex is basically becoming the financial operating system for a modern business. And this brings us to their biggest, most ambitious goal yet. By integrating AI into their global network and their software, Airwallex is aiming for something way beyond just being a better bank. They're trying to build a future where AI can literally manage a company's finances all on its own. It's just a remarkable, mind-blowing trajectory for a journey that started in a lemon factory, and honestly, it could end up reshaping global commerce as we know it.